Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. If you're new here, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. People who will be tuning in later on our audio platforms as well, if you haven't smashed the follow button, wherever you're tuning in from, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, man, do us a favor, smash the follow button wherever you are. And big up our partners before we get into things. Big up our partners, Manscaped. They came on board, I think, a couple of weeks ago now. It was a pleasant surprise, and they're one of the pioneers in below the waist grooming, and they have been for a few years. When you watch random shows, when you watch a UFC fight, and then you see Manscaped being, the primary sponsor, it really dawns upon you that what they are, and how much of a big name they are, especially when it comes to men's grooming, and also the very fact that they have been supporting our friends, our football family, basically over in the UK as well for over so many years. Like, I think even way back in 2019, I remember the Big Six show was sponsored by Manscaped, so they have been always been super supportive of fan channels, especially football related fan channels in my memory. So yeah, man, big up basically over in the UK as well for all the love, and big up you guys. If you can help us out, if you can help Manscaped out, the link is in the description below. Valentine's Day is coming up. If you want to gift someone your beloved ones, whether it be a girl or a boy, man or a woman, there's a whole catalog of products that Manscaped offer. From you can see stuff from deodorants to loungewear, trimmers, nose trimmers, all of that. So yeah, like if you take a look at the catalog, and some of the prices might seem a bit steep, you can just scroll down a bit, and there are stuff under €50, under $50, under £50. So yeah, man, this is the best way basically you can show some love and appreciation for what we have been doing non-stop. As I always reiterate, juggling unis, families, jobs, whatnot. We have been here every match day, before the game, after the game, to have a two-way conversation with you guys. So yeah, man, big up every single one of you who shows us love. It is super humbling, to say the least. But yeah, that aside, housekeeping aside, big up Mo, big up my co-host, co-panelist. What's the vibe like? How is your Tuesday looking like so far, bro?
Yeah, for me, after listening to you, I'm pretty hyped up. I'm just typing manscaped.com, and I'm gonna go and buy some products off there. So I mean, I think Manscaped should just hire you to do all their promos. I'm pretty enthused about
I wish.
About it. Yeah, man. But jokes aside, I think I'm pretty excited to be here. Doing this show with you again. So. I was away for a bit, but now I'm back, so it's going to be exciting.
It's kind of a heavyweight premium preview lineup, right? Like, it's not the usual Jacob. It's more into it, so it's got to have some more, nuance to it. I guess.
I mean, we'll try, but to living up to Farouk's level is a task in itself. So we'll try our best to do it.
100%. 100%. 100%. 10 easy around these parts.
Yeah.
Especially when the Nigerian prince is involved. He's happily vacationing over in Nigeria. Ashik always fondly asks me, what's Farouk doing? Did he get to watch Nigeria? Well, what's his mood like? I was telling him like he's home. He should be celebrating Nigeria's win in the AFCON a couple of days back, I guess. So he should be super 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 happy. Um, yeah, and Jacob is also away vacationing, so I guess it's just you and me, bro. Who doesn't get days off, really? Yeah, but
I mean, we don't have anywhere to vacation to, so I guess we're just stuck.
yeah, we are just pulled down by this fucking winter. I hate winters, man. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, man.
It's just
Right
such
now, like
a
ever since I woke up in the morning, it's been snowing, snowing,
yeah,
snowing. It kind of gets depressing after a point because
yeah,
everybody's like, oh, it's snow, it's soft, it's fluffy, it's so cute, and I'm like, yeah, live in the snow for a while, and then you'll know, when you have to shovel all that stuff out of the way, that's when you really understand what living in the snow is like. So, yeah, man.
100%.
And then it's kind of like watching Real Madrid play Getafe because watching Getafe is like always an eyesore. So now
Yeah,
you know what living in snow is like.
I completely understand. Like vacating somewhere in Switzerland for a couple of days is completely different to living somewhere that snows like 6 months a year. It ain't the same. It doesn't hit the same. And for Getafe, I'll tell you, obviously they're gonna be fucking hacking people down left, right, and center. But one thing they, in my opinion, are not associated with exactly is boring, right? Their games, they bring to the table some spice, some masala. They are
Definitely.
always up for the
especially
fight.
especially if
Mm,
you're one of those guys who are of the persuasion, who follow the philosophy of Barcelona or Ajax. The way these guys managed to get into the heads of all the Ajax fans after playing in the Europa League. I think it's like one of the most legendary moments on social media in itself because every time you go there, you'll still see Ajax fans crying about that game. So for me, if for nothing, I love Getafe for that.
100%. It's always a clash of styles, right? Like when you watch Getafe and when you watch Borderless, basically a journeyman up until he hit the jackpot with Getafe, 2 3 years ago. Not 2 3 years, I think 4 years ago now. It's 2024. My God, time flies. Where he basically took Getafe to just 1 point below Champions League places, and that too on the final match day of the season. And how he basically took Valencia as well to the Copa del Rey finals, losing just on penalties. This guy has done a tremendous job, and he is kind of not resonated with the fans as much in other clubs. But at Getafe, there seems to be a solid marriage, right? There seems to be a connection between what happens on the pitch, what his ideologies are, and how his team sets up to basically negate opposition, regardless of who it is, and see out games, win games. Most importantly,
Yeah, I think
yeah, go on.
with Bordalas, the thing is like he has made Getafe fans believe he has taken Getafe to places like
Yeah,
where they rarely are. The thing is like okay,
mm,
fine. Before Bordalas as well, they have had few seasons where they have been good, but like being consistently this good is like something that's like alien to Getafe. But under Bordalas, man, I think they've been something really different. I mean, I wouldn't call them special because watching their games, like you said, is excruciating. It's like it's never boring, but it's excruciating in the fact that it can be extremely painful to watch the style of football that they play. This is kind of the vibe that we used to get with Atleti at the start of Simeone's tenure, but right now I think with Bordalas it's kind of like.
that's a cheeky comparison.
I mean, it's definitely why it's just like a
It's
lower
true, it's
quality
true. But
Atleti.
Atleti had a little more,
Yeah,
quality to
yeah.
them, right?
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I think Bordalas is like is a hero to all Getafe fans that I've ever spoken to. So
Yeah.
that's probably two, but it's like yeah, to them he's a hero because of the way he has managed the club and managed to turn everything around, and like taken them into places they rarely were before.
100%, 100%. Not gonna lie, man. Like I like really like the way they carry themselves against Barcelona earlier in the season as well. They were did they actually like at least draw the game because my memory shit. Like, but I remember they came off the game feeling like they could have won the game basically.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't remember exactly as well. I should probably have
mm.
checked what their results against Barcelona were. Like I was too engrossed in setting everything up,
But
and
you remember the controversy and kind of,
yeah, the thing is like with
the yeah,
Barcelona, there's always a controversy when they play Getafe. The thing is like Getafe's style is all about frustrating Barcelona. Barcelona, like these guys, they love to play the
yeah,
ball, and they think once they have the ball, they're automatically
yeah.
going to win. But when it does not happen, they start crying about it. So for me, I wouldn't be surprised if there was. I am sorry to say that I don't exactly remember what the result was.
It was a 0-0
Yeah,
at the Colosseum Alfonso Perez
yeah,
with
there you go, there you go. 0-0. Barcelona not being able to score is like a
beginning of the
perfect
season.
recipe, for a
Yeah,
crisis, for a morning. So
yeah, 100%. Makes sense. Makes sense. But yeah, man, big up the chat. Big up Madrid TV. Big up guy. He says big up guys. Big up Madrid TV, man. Every single time. Such a devoted, supporter of the channel. He's been like I've seen him ever since I got into watching football content on YouTube. He was a name that I saw pop up everywhere. Ifti Mohammadi as well. He says, "What's up, boys? What's up, Ifti? Hope you're doing well, man." He Madrid TV basically said Getafe away is always a difficult game. 100%. They don't make it easy for you.
yeah,
No, no chance.
a couple of
Mm.
years ago, I remember it was like I think it's a 21-22 season where we almost like won everything except the Copa. And
Mm.
January, I think we were coming off a good run, and in January we had our first game of January, first defeat 1-0 away at the
Yeah,
Coliseum. I think if I remember, it was like it was Militao who kind of got sent off or something. I don't exactly remember, but something related to Militao happened in that game. So like Madrid TV said, Getafe away always a difficult game.
I remember. Like you said,
Did we lose Suned?
correctly.
Suned, I think I lost you for a moment.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Am I back?
yeah,
Can you
you're
hear me?
back. Yeah,
Okay. I don't know what happened, but I was saying I can't remember the specifics of that game, but I remember the feeling, like how shitty I felt. Right, like it was like beginning of Jan or something, right after Christmas or
yeah,
something.
yeah. If I remember correctly,
Yeah.
it was Jan 3rd or something, and we kind of lost
Mm,
the game 1-0, if I remember
mm.
correctly.
Yeah,
See, ask
and
me
the
about
season wasn't
Getafe
looking
Madrid
great.
games, I can tell you. Don't ask me about Getafe Barcelona, okay? You're gonna put me on the
Right,
spot.
right. No, the Getafe Barcelona sticks out in my mind because like that was one of the earlier games. Now I check the date; it's like August 13th or something. That's like forever ago. Now, Xavi was still,
The darling of
uh,
Barcelona.
yeah, darling of Barcelona, basically being heralded as the second coming of Cruyff, Guardiola, you name it. How
He,
quickly fortunes can turn.
he was
Mm.
gonna win them 3 Champions Leagues on the bounce, so there's that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but Champions League they always knew it was kind of the kryptonite. But yeah, in the league they just looked like nobody could touch them. But yeah, 5 months on, he's basically said the pressure's too much. This guy, man, like, did you read the
He was
Athletic
gonna
stuff?
win
Like,
them three
can you
Champions League.
rely on Athletic being pretty accurate when it comes to La Liga more? Like, I don't know. Like,
I mean,
can you
it
rely on
depends
them?
on the journalist, right? For Real Madrid, I think
I don't.
it's the
I
two
don't
journalists who
remember
cover
the
it are
job.
like accurate. So
Mario Cortagena
Mario
and who?
Cortagana and Guillermo Rai.
Game, right. But I don't remember who this article was by. But it was basically uncovering what happened behind Xavi's decision and blah blah blah. So apparently he used to read every single news article, or like he used to listen to random podcasts and whatnot, slating him. Why would he do that? Like that just
I
shows
mean,
you like
I
that's
hope he was listening to ours. Having an audience as prestigious. Whatever happens about him as a manager, I think as a player was pretty good. So having Xavi
mm,
be one of our listeners, like it's gonna be pretty cool.
not gonna lie. But I'm gonna tell you something, right? When I read that, the first mental image that I had in my brain was the fact that how he kind of carried himself on the pitch as well. Like people can call him as a leader. Like he is, yeah, someone you look up to, yeah, like when in a team. But he's no Puyol, right? So I remember, like even when he was playing, even when Barcelona were like clearly on top, basically, running through us. he used to have this ego where he looked small. Like I remember that, and this is what has happened even in his managerial career, where he basically has to um, look for validation from the people and from the press and whatnot. Like, how can you expect that someone with his experience in top flight football, and especially in La Liga, especially in Barcelona, like he should have come into the job expecting no mercy. I don't know where that feeling of, oh, these guys betrayed me, they're thankless, man,
Yeah,
at the
I
top.
think I
Mm,
think Xavi like kind of like he's pushed like a little bit to the extreme with that one, about talking
mm,
about how press is and everything, because like Xavi more than anyone should know how the press is for clubs like Real Madrid and clubs like Barcelona. The thing is that the pressure is always going to be there. These clubs are not just football clubs, they're also politically they have some political influence, so they're political tools as well. So I think the pressure is going to be immense, and Xavi more than anyone should know it, because Xavi is from the academy, and he grew up a Barcelona fan. So like for me, Xavi should be expecting this, and to come out and say, "Oh yeah, I'm giving up because the pressure is too much. I've never received the appreciation that I should have." It's kind of disappointed to hear from him. Personally, I felt that last season maybe his triumphs got a little bit too hyped, because the thing is
yeah.
like they all we always think that Barcelona, oh man, they scored 88 points, they have such a good defense, but what we fail to ignore is what we ignore is the fact that they were winning a lot of those games like by a goal or something, by the
Mm.
narrows of margins. The attack wasn't that great, but the defense was good. And this season with the loss of Busquets, I think they lost it. So Xavi is kind of like, I wouldn't completely blame Xavi, because without a DM of the quality of, to quote Farouk, Sergio B is like it's really difficult. But I think it kind of put him into his place, and the fact that he was inexperienced, coming from Qatar, only having coached Al Sadd, and so I kind of think he got exposed this season. Probably a little bit of humility in the last season, where their players were shouting about how it was the beginning of a new era and everything.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
that wasn't even last year, right? Like, I
it
mean,
was
that
after
was
the
that
Super
wasn't
Copa
even,
final.
yeah,
Yeah, last
early Jan
yeah
last
early
year,
Jan.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
my bad, my bad, my
Yeah,
bad.
so I kind of think a little bit of humility, a little bit of introspection about what Barcelona's position exactly was and how they won. Because I think last season it wasn't just about Barcelona winning; it was also about the fact that essentially after January we gave up. Our team was like pretty bad. Otherwise, I think
Mm.
if you're at if we were in our best form, and Barcelona were in their best form last season, I definitely think Real Madrid Real Madrid would have won the title. But it was kind of like disappointing from us, excellent from them, and they won it. But this season,
Yeah.
I hope normal service is resumed.
That's the thing, right? When Barcelona fall off, the fall off is just pretty hard to stomach. Especially for their fans, especially even as a rival. You guys remember like how controversial I was when I stated that I would like Lewandowski to join Barcelona and make them push us to be even better, right? And that happened. They won the league in tremendous fashion and whatnot. But what I didn't basically measure is the level of implosion that was happening before our eyes. Because like I'm not someone who indulges myself in Twitter paparazzi endeavors, like in my free time. Like I don't really browse Twitter much, so I didn't really know what was happening. But when big figures like Ali Mani left last summer, Jordi Cruyff left the staff as well. Like I could see there was some sort of a friction behind the scenes, and now you could clearly see when it all came to light with his resignation that people weren't really backing him like the world would like to have believed, like the fans would have liked to believe. But I guess,
I think the
yeah.
signing of
Yeah.
Lewandowski was like, if you
Mm,
expected if you wanted Barcelona to succeed in the long term, I think the signing of Lewandowski was like an extremely risky one, because right now
mm.
we see what Lewandowski is, and the fact that Bayern got 50 million from him is a steal.
Did he cry, bro? Like, was it true? Like, I'm not sure. Like, did you read that? Like, he broke into tears and whatnot when Xavi kind of dressed the team and stuff. Um, like
Yeah,
the next morning in the first training session or something.
I don't really know, to be honest. Like, yeah. There were also talks about
Like,
him hosting people
it's
at his
crazy.
home. You know, the thing is, like, the funny thing is, like, for the last like 6 months, I've been reading this stuff that every time Barcelona loses, a report will come out in Sport or Mundo Deportivo, and they'll say, "Oh, the players have gathered now, and they have pulled up their socks and shirts, and they're like, now it's over. Now we're gonna be a different team," and then they go on and lose again. So these things, you know, the thing is like you just read them and laugh and just move on. For me, I don't take it seriously. But I think the fact of the matter is like the thing is they brought in Lewandowski, a player like who was clearly or trending towards the end of his career, and
Yeah.
now his form is gone. And the thing is, like, Lewandowski is a good player, but he doesn't exactly fit in with the Barcelona style because Lewandowski is a player who likes the ball to come to him. And for Barcelona, for their style, that style that Xavi says that he epitomizes, is like it's all about movement. So when
Mm.
Lewandowski doesn't do that, I think he kind of struggles in the system. Barcelona probably would have been wiser enough, to take in 1 or 2 lean years before rising up again, building from the bottom. But they decided that the thing is like they wanted to they want to stay at the top and spend irresponsibly. So they decided to go with Lewandowski, and fair play to them. I think it worked out a little bit because they won a league
Yeah.
title. So
Nobody would frown at a league title, right?
yeah, but the
No
thing is,
chance.
like,
Yeah.
what can be the potential complications from this? What can be the potential
Mm.
consequences now that they don't
Mm.
have money in the coming summer? They don't really have money to hire a top quality coach. They might not have the money to sign top tier talents. Even the last summer,
Mm.
there were rumors about them wanting Zubimendi and Bernardo Silva and Kimmich and all those players, but they had to they had to settle for Oriol Romeo. So that kind of speaks for itself. So what's going to happen in the future? They kind of mortgage their
My God.
future to win that one
The,
league title. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Romeo's first 2 seasons, I was like thinking, oh, yo, maybe that's a cheap option, like a cheap stopgap, basically, because he was putting up decent numbers. I was thinking he might be some sort of a temporary fix. But the way he basically ghosted um, from there on in, yeah, was expected.
I think
Maybe I. Mm.
something that we tend to ignore is the fact that when you go to these top clubs, like the likes of Madrid and Barcelona, it's not just about being
Mm.
a good player; it's also about having the ability to deal with that mentality, with that pressure that
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
with. And I think sometimes
yeah.
people struggle. It doesn't mean that Romeo is not a decent player. I mean, he's a
He's a
decent player.
decent player.
He played well for Girona, but the thing is, like, probably the pressure he just cannot deal with it.
Mm. Talking about Girona, like yeah, like we are basically trying to cover everything that happened in the last couple of days, but the news coming out regarding their fullbacks and whatnot, like it's gaining so much traction. Like, do you think that we're gonna really go for um either Gutierrez or Arnau, someone in the summer?
I think the one being linked right now is Jan Couto, their right back.
Bianco?
I was kind of
Yeah.
surprised. I thought that he was older, honestly, but I was kind of
Mm.
surprised to learn that he's only 21. So that's
He's only
definitely
21.
yeah, he's only
Oh,
21. So I kind of thought that he was older. So when I read that he's only 21 or something, I was kind of
is he
surprised.
is he Spanish or Brazilian?
He's Brazilian.
Brazilian. Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, I think that's something that's the news that has been like coming up in the recent days, like the past month. Exactly. I think it was
Mm.
Marca who broke that news. For me, I definitely want to see how this thing goes. Like whenever I've seen him, whenever I've seen Girona, I would say that he's a good player, but is he the quality where you could challenge the likes of Danny Carvalho? Would it be a wise investment? Because I think Alex Jimenez has been doing well at Milan. You probably watch Milan games, so you probably have seen him. So
Mm.
that could be an interesting option if you only need a backup, or it could be an interesting option just to re-sign Lucas and bring Alex back like the season after. And there's also an
Mm.
interesting talented in the youth team called Jesus Fortea, with like on whom Real Madrid have a lot of hopes, and he was signed with Atleti, and they kind of broke the
Okay.
pact, the non-aggression pact to sign him. So that's a
Okay.
player that they have high hopes from. So it would be interesting. Definitely, Jan Couto is a good player. It would be an interesting signing if they do make it. With regards to Miguel, I think Alfonso Davies is obviously the first choice. So it will hinge on what happens there, I think.
Right. Right. Yeah. Alfonso Davis, I'm not sure, anymore, how optimistic we can be, right? Like, I'm not, I'm just going by whatever, murmur that I've been hearing over the past few days. But yeah, Jan Couto, I haven't seen much of him, I'll hold my hands up by saying that. But whenever I've seen him, make forays into the attacking third, he looks like a player. He looks like he has some neat feet, can beat the man, has decent delivery as well. Not so sure about his defensive work rate, but yeah, like talking about Alex Jimenez, he really needs at least another couple of years, playing top flight football for that refinement, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
To Yeah, the step up, even as a backup to Danny Carvalho, would be a bit too daunting for Alex Jimenez. He's in a good moment right now. We must let him develop.
Yeah,
Um,
for me, the thing is like
yeah.
what I see as the ideal scenario would be like the rumor recently has been like today, I think it came out today or yesterday, that Real
Mm,
Madrid want to extend Carvajal for one more year. So I think
yeah.
the ideal thing to do would be give uh, Carvajal a 1 year extension, give Lucas a renewal because his contract expires at the end of the season, and see how the next season goes, and then decide what you want to do because Jan Cuadro seems like a good option. I think he has like even his contract with City, I think he only has 1 year left after this season because he's a City
Yeah.
player, he's not a Girona player. So
Yeah, I know.
we'll probably be signing him from
And
there.
and the numbers they're speaking is like under 15 million or something, right?
I'm not exactly sure about the numbers, and honestly, I don't really trust the numbers because you can always end up surprised. But
Okay.
yeah, it will be an interesting option if the club decides to bring him in. We are always obviously going to support him. But yeah, I think with the Alex option, it would be if Carvajal and Lucas renewed, Alex gets like maybe Milan buy him out, and Real Madrid always have the buyback option. So we see how he develops after 1 year, and then we can decide what to do for the future.
100%, 100%. So I guess we have covered a bit of what has been happening around La Liga and Spain for a bit. I guess it's time to see what you've been cooking more, with Manscaped, and then we'll be coming back and hopefully we'll get into how Getafe have been doing and preview the game basically from there on.
All right, man. I'm gonna play the ad here, but I'm gonna feel extremely shy after this. So.
It's understandable.
Ever since we started this podcast, we've had people reach out to us and ask us, about how you guys can support us, how you guys can help us out in this mission that we have, that is to spread the good word about Real Madrid all around the world. So I guess this is an opportunity for us. This is a great opportunity for us, and this is an opportunity for you guys to help us out. So we're partnering with Manscaped.com, and they're going to be our sponsors for the foreseeable future, as long as you guys pitch in and buy their products and help us out. So without further ado, this is like our first ever ad read we're doing on this podcast. So let me just read out everything that Manscaped sent to us, and I hope you guys will support us. So roses are red, violets are blue. Trim your balls, and your date will love us too. What's up, fellas? So for Valentine's Day, Manscaped has partnered with us to bring a special offer to you guys. And what is the prescription from Manscaped? It is the all-new Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, designed to elevate your grooming game and shine like the heartthrob that you are. So let me just show you guys everything that is in this package right here. So Manscaped.com is a brand that is trusted by over 10 million men worldwide. When you're talking about Manscaped, you guys can be sure that it's all about quality. And right now, partnering with us, you can get this quality with a 20% discount and free shipping if you use our code, which is LBR20. It is written down on the screen that you guys can see. If you go to manscaped.com/LBR20 and use this code, you'll get a 20% discount and free shipping. So what's special about this Valentine's Day? I'm sure you guys have plans. You guys have special plans, and to get ready for those special plans, you probably need to be groomed right. So while grooming, you probably don't want to get cut in areas you don't want to get cut, don't want to get nicked in areas you don't want to get nicked. So for that, I think Valentine's Day, Manscaped.com has a very special product for you. It's called the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. So what is it? Let me just show it to you guys. So this is the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It is designed to help you guys groom yourself without getting hurt and everything. So what does Manscaped say about this? Like, the special feature for this is like it has skin safe technology, which guards your V-Day treasures, Valentine's Day treasures, against any grooming mishaps like we talked about. Don't want to get nicked, right? Don't want to get nicked. It also comes with the brightest LED spotlight yet. It's brighter than your best romantic smile. Perfect for precise grooming, even in the trickiest spots. Oh, it's waterproof too. so you can use it in the shower, without damaging the equipment. But hey, that's not all. This thing also comes with a Weed Whacker 2.0. It's a special product for your nose. You don't want nose hair sticking out of your nares on your special day. But that's not all. They also have Manscaped's liquid formulation that is special for this, and 2 free goodies: the Shed travel bag and Boxes 2.0, because comfort is king for all my followers. And for a happy ending, there's a Manscaped Refine Cologne. It's a Valentine's Day touch for your grooming routine. Elevate your grooming routine and set the stage for a romantically smooth celebration. And for bearded people, people like me who have beards, right now I've shaved, so you probably can't see it. But you have Manscaped brings you the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Right now it's not with me, but it is designed to shape your scruff effortlessly. It sculpts your cheek lines and maintains your beard styles, giving you that suave look for your romantic moments. Seamlessly handling even the thickest of beards, it's the perfect tool for a polished, date-ready appearance. So, get 20% off and free shipping with the code LBR20 at manscaped.com. That's right, 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the code LBR20 because grooming upgrade awaits, ready to charm your Valentine's dates.
Okay, Mo basically made me wait for 90 seconds. Okay, that was a bit too excruciating, nail biting, tense, moment before I came back on air, man. You shouldn't do that, man. That's basically, putting me through such nerves for no reason. But yeah, man, I guess you take some pleasure in it. But big up Mo, man. Big up Mo. He had such a small window, especially with his exams and whatnot, to cook that up. People, you heard the man, right? You heard the man describing some very, let's just say, very, fond detail of, how Manscaped has elevated, people's lives, especially with their products. So, yeah, man, the code is in the description. Code is in the pinned comment as well. People who are tuning in later on our audio platforms as well, come over to our social media pages: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of that. You'll find the link, and don't forget to apply the code. And if you do make a purchase, please make sure to send in a receipt so that we can, show Manscaped that you guys came from us. It's not a mandatory thing. If you apply the code, that's implied, that you came through us. But still, it's just a nice, nice.
And I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
this thing is pretty good to hold. So.
Oh yeah, he has it ready, in case if we need a live demo as well. Takes me back to my sales rep days, back in uni.
I don't know about live demo because the thing is, like, we still want to be monetized. So this is the
live demo doesn't. A live demo doesn't involve anything obscene. We could just do what AFTV does. Take a kiwi and demonstrate it, but it might be stretching.
Yeah, Jacob was pretty excited about using a kiwi, so it's just sad that we cannot get him the equipment.
Jacob is in Dubai at the moment. Hopefully he doesn't pull those kind of shit over there, because he wouldn't be making his way back if he does that. But yeah, man, big up Jacob, big up Manscaped. Hopefully, we get to hear from you guys. If you guys make a purchase, it is the best time. Like I say, Valentine's Day is around the corner. Make your life a bit smoother. If you get what I mean. Let's get to a few of the comments, Mo, if you can help me.
Yeah, I think we should start with the ones at the bottom from Madrid TV. It's about, like, it kind of ties into the description of what we were talking just now.
There you go. Madrid TV was mentioning Barcelona is in the mud. I wanted Xavi to stay, man. 100%. Everybody was kind of, heartbroken when, he announced he was leaving. Madrid TV was also mentioning we have 8 million buyback option for Miguel Gutierrez when others has to buy him for 30 million plus. Yeah, that's an enticing opportunity. Not gonna lie. The more I've seen of him, especially Mo, who was a staunch advocate for him being re-signed, from way back when I really didn't think he had the minerals. It was not exactly doubting, his potential, but it was just me waiting to see how he can handle, La Liga constantly, back to back seasons, especially at the top. And he has shown that he has temperament, he has enough in him. Madrid was also mentioning we need a right back soon. Why not bring back Hakimi? He is a Madrid-born player. After all, it's not that easy. I'm not sure about his contract situation. Like, it should be at least,
I think he has a contract till 2026. But like for me, the biggest
yeah,
worry is
at
about
least 2 years.
two. For me, there are two worries about him. It's first of all is the fact that he's at PSG, and second of all is the case that happened against him. I don't really know what's happening over there. So I think those
Yeah,
two
it
things
has
come.
all gone silent, so I'm not sure,
Yeah. The thing is, like, I'm
anymore.
not even sure like what's happening with the case. So I think those two issues are the ones that are probably strongly against him, and coupled with the fact that he kind of misses out games in at the start of the year in January and February
Mhm.
whenever there is Afcon. So
AFCON, yeah, that might kind of,
I mean,
that's
although
why our club,
in an
yeah,
ideal environment, you wouldn't want that to happen. I wish the FIFA, they would institute a winter break or something that kind of helps us squeeze into these competitions. Instead of having these international breaks in February, March, or whenever these keep happening, just like tie everything up and hold it in January or something. So these competitions like Afcon get the respect that they deserve.
100%. That's like AFCON is the biggest reason that, like, we, as a club, really don't fancy, African prospects. But yeah, man, I think it's basically out of our hands to even predict what's going to happen with Hakimi. But it is a given that, if he's coming back, people are going to welcome him with open hands, open arms, especially because of his history with us. Um, a few more of the comments before we head into stuff. Ifti Mohammadi was mentioning, don't forget Getafe got Mason Greenwood on their side, and he is good at attacking. If you know, you know. Well, I guess we should move past that, man. We should talk about what he brings to the table as a player. And bro, he's special. Not gonna lie. El Marageba was mentioning Ala Madrid homies. It's that special time of the year. Going to Borderless brick house with a sledgehammer and hope. Let's go get it, Madridistas. Yeah, man. Big up, Merengue boy, man. He's a poet as well. I didn't know that. Um, but yeah, talking about Borderless and his army, right? No better place to begin than with Mayoral and what he has been doing over the past couple of years. Let's be honest, he has been slowly simmering, but he has really, I think, blossomed this season so far. The goal he scored yesterday was an absolute gift. If you saw that, more, it was just a
Yeah,
it was just a
I couldn't catch
big
the match
error.
yesterday, but like for me, the interesting thing about it is the fact that now he's caught up with Bellingham at the top of the La Liga scoring chart. So a couple
Yeah.
of years ago, we were definitely talking about Borja Mayoral, potentially being Benzema's backup. I was kind of like always have been kind of like I've been high on him because of the way he plays the game. I've always said that I liked him more than Jovic because of his dynamism and everything. But this season, he has really managed to come into the goals, man. I think he's doing his talent a service, and scoring 14 goals in La Liga is never it's never easy. But the fact that he has been able to manage to do it in a team like Getafe is like even more incredible when you consider the fact that Getafe, they've scored 28 goals this season in the league, and
Mm,
14 of them are from Mayoral. Although I'm not like
that's mad.
for it's 50% of a team's goals is like incredible any way you slice it. So for me, I think Marola has done brilliantly this season and has been rightly linked with. I believe it was Arsenal. I don't know if the transfer is going to happen or anything. Even in the summer,
Really? During Jan or
he
on the summer?
he was kind of linked with Arsenal about them potentially scouting him. Because as I said,
Okay.
he's a dynamic player. So any team that wants to play football in a way that's like possession oriented, I would think should be looking at him. But
Mm.
yeah, I think this season he's really stepped up.
Mayoral, I'm not gonna lie, what makes him so good, it's the way he basically is very well rounded. Whether it be linking up play, whether it be running the channels, he has a certain knack for, basically not being, you know, pretty decent inside the box. It's also his other aspects, to forward play as well that makes him very versatile, an option, especially in the current era where strikers are hard to come by, especially mobile, um, well-rounded strikers. And yeah, man, Mayoral has made a name for himself, and I've seen quite a bit of him, especially against Barcelona as well. Against Atleti as well, where they were kind of unlucky to basically concede a draw. Did they lose or something? And Mayoral was absolutely amazing that night.
And he also scored
But yeah,
against us early in the season. Although it was a
oh
gift,
yeah,
although it was a
yeah,
gift that Alaba and Fran Garcia decided to give it to him, but he took full
yeah,
advantage of it.
yeah. Um, like at home, right? I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't pretty. We basically needed Bellingham to do the honors to get away with 3 points that day. But
I think there's an interesting comment about Myral from Reddit TV that probably you should read.
yeah, Madrid TV was mentioning Mayoral has been good this season. Why he was sold and players like Mariano stayed is beyond. Always liked him. Um, Plays similar like Benzema, good link-up play and can shoot with both feet. Yeah, valid point.
What do you think about this?
The, we all know. Did you hear the Mariano Hannibal incident at Sevilla as well?
I heard about it, but I don't really know the details, so I would love to hear
So
more about it from you.
I think Hannibal is Hannibal Jebri or Mejbri. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Was United's youth prospect, right? He scored that good goal, I guess, against City, or who was it? I don't remember. So he was on loan at Sevilla, and apparently, when they were having a kick-a-ball in the training session, Mariano basically failed to control a ball, which made Hannibal lose it. He basically burst out laughing, is what they claim, which which in turn turned into kind of a scuffle, right? And yeah, so this was the incident, but
Yeah,
comes yeah,
yeah. For
go
me,
on.
the thing always about Mariano is like whenever we talk about Mariano, there's like two things that three things that come to my mind. First
Mm,
is the goal against Barcelona that he scored in the Clasico. You remember, like 1 minute after coming on, his only
yeah,
involvement was that goal scored and that celebration. Second thing
yeah.
is like there was a picture of him walking with a lion. So as a
Hmm.
pet, so that's the second thing that comes to my mind. And the third thing is like his new hairstyle. I mean, I shouldn't be like mocking people for their hair, but that hairstyle was something else. So for me personally, I think there has to be a reason why Mariano like manages to stay at all these clubs. Get a lot of backing. Even in the Hannibal incident, I what I heard was like a lot of senior players were angry with Hannibal because of him laughing at Mariano. So I'm like, okay, fine. If this guy doesn't know play football, at least he knows how to make friends. So wherever he goes, he's probably a dressing room presence that everybody likes.
Yeah, Mariano, I think is a humble guy, man. Like Mariano,
No,
he
I don't
sadly,
know about humble guy. The thing is like there's a
in the
fourth thing
sense,
now that I remember about him. Is like there was this
right?
one video where he was getting a tattoo. He was basically in a operating theater under anesthesia and everything, and there were like so
Oh,
many
I
people.
remember that.
You remember that one? Yeah,
Yeah,
that was something
yeah.
else. I don't really know if I'd call a guy like that humble.
I mean, in the sense, like we have seen so many, prima donnas in football. Like Mariano at least is in that level. But I have a soft spot for him for his goal against Depor, which I'll never forget. In the duodecima season
16,
where he
17.
was, yeah, he was pretty pivotal coming off from the bench. I guess that season was so special that no matter who came off the bench, they basically delivered the goods. But Mariano, for me, I'm not gonna slate him much,
Yeah.
but
If I remember
um,
correctly, that was his first season with Real Madrid, like with the first team. And the thing about Mariano has
yeah,
always been like before it went sour towards the end. The thing I was always remember Mariano for is the fact that he always gave his 100%. He gave his 200%. Even if
yeah,
he didn't have the same talent as some of the other players, he never gave up
100%.
fighting. And that was something that I always appreciated about him.
Relentless pressing. He always, chased lost causes. Yeah. So yeah, man, Mayoral also the other reason guys like Mayoral didn't stay was because I guess the outlook of Mayoral and how the transfer market perceived Mayoral was that he was at least a bit above average. He could do a job.
Yeah.
in mid-table sides, elsewhere as well.
Yeah, I think exactly. The
So
fact is, like, if we could at least get some money for him, getting money from Mariano was like next to impossible. So
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's the whole thing, man. It's fine margins. Let's be honest, especially back then as well. Um, but yeah, Mayoral has been doing his fair share of getting back, not getting back, basically cementing himself. This is his first major stride forward in terms of his career, right? At least personally speaking, even though he had some okay spells at Levante and the likes, but yeah, talking about his other players, man, guys like Jenny, who has been a cornerstone of what Getafe has been for so long. I'm a huge fan, especially the first I heard about Jenny is obviously through FIFA, but yeah, like when I see him, he's so masterful. He is some sort of a sneaky customer, who can play um, as a CDM. He has played as a six, played as centre back for so many years. Um, is a big part of what makes Getafe so difficult to beat as well. Guys like David Soria as well, who we were linked with in the past summer. Um, they have quite a few good names. Like Eresunal is also a tricky customer. He has been out for quite a while, right?
yeah,
He's
injured.
been injured. Yeah. Duarte, you name it. There were so many good players, man. But yeah, more like anybody else that you would like to talk about
Apart from
from
Mason
Getafe.
Greenwood.
Oh, Mason Greenwood. Yeah, maybe you should do the honors.
But I mean,
And if you've seen him,
I'll be honest. The fact is, like, when Mason Greenwood first burst at the scene at United, everybody was like, "This guy is like something special." So I
mm,
think, despite the suspension, the player is still there, and Hetafe like kind of used the opportunity to get the best out of him. For me, I think the way he has been playing for Hetafe has been a big plus for them. I think Bordalas has kind of like alluded to it in his press conferences as well. So
yeah,
Getafe have benefited from it. Mayoral definitely has, because he's been scoring a lot of goals. So having a player like Mason Greenwood besides him, a technical player who can do something, is like it has to be good. And the fact is, like, Getafe are one of the teams in La Liga who create a low number of chances, but they are
mm,
still among in the top 10 when it comes to goals scored. So that speaks to how good they are in converting their chances. So when you have to make do with whatever you get, and then you have players like Mason Greenwood, who is kind of like on the road back. So I
mm.
think Getafe have done well to take advantage of him as well.
Like my personal vendetta against United and United fans, right? Like I wouldn't speak anything good about those lot, right? Like but when Mason Greenwood broke into um basically mini stardom, and people were raving about him, like I was very keen to brush it aside and say, this is another hype merchant. Is he gonna be the next guy with the Ballon d'Or clause, like Martial, at United, like, and basically be walk-in ramps in Paris, for the Paris Fashion Week and whatnot. Like, so I wasn't really keen on the hype, but the more I saw of him, like I knew they were very honest in their assessment that there is something truly special, especially him being very two-footed. Um, his knack for close control dribbling, his composure, especially under pressure, his ability to pick up a pass as well. Like he was, like, I in my opinion, a more complete package than what Dembele was. You know, so we all know how his career went. After that and
When
whatnot.
you watch Greenwood, the impression that I get, he's the right winger that everybody would create on FIFA to be the player that they play as. Whenever you're doing
Yeah,
maybe even
yeah.
like maybe when you're playing pro clubs or playing player career, every time you're creating a right winger, Greenwood is the kind of prototype that you would want to be. Somebody who can
Yeah,
score,
very well
somebody,
rounded.
yeah, well-rounded player.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And this career move, like I didn't really reckon like how this was gonna pan out. Like I knew that this was gonna take away the media attention, was gonna take away the scrutiny, and basically, try to reignite the footballer in him, among the football world. But yeah, man, I think it's going pretty well for him. I'm not sure about what are the chances that United might take him back? That's not very certain so far, but I'm pretty sure there'll be suitors lining up come summer, man, 100%. He's definitely a very good player, and yeah. Who else? Who else? Who else? I
Yeah,
guess
man. I think
we have
we've
touched.
touched upon the fact that Soria is like he's been brilliant and he was linked to us in the summer. And we talked about Chennai, we talked about Myra, we talked about Greenwood. I think that leaves us with players like Oscar, who probably had a Real Madrid past. Somebody who was like immensely talented, but it hasn't exactly
Oscar
worked out.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, it hasn't
I
exactly
remember.
worked out for him the way he wanted. And Sunyal coming back from injury, I think it's been a big positive for them. Players like Jaime Mata and Damien Suarez, I think they're also like decent players, always there, always fouling. But I think the thing about Getafe that we always have to keep into mind is the fact that these guys they commit an extraordinary number of fouls. Everybody has this idea that Getafe is a good team defensively, but when I was looking at the numbers, I was actually surprised. They have like conceded 28 goals, they have scored 28 goals, so they have conceded as much as they scored. And like when it comes to the amount of goals conceded, they're top 10. They're like top 10 in the most number of goals conceded. So Getafe, not good defensively, but very good at fouling, because I remember they were like third in La Liga in the number of fouls conceded. So that tells you all need to know about Getafe, like defensively at least. So for me, I think Real Madrid, that is an area we have to be careful, when it comes to protecting our players and everything, especially at the Coliseum, because it's going to be a smaller ground, less area to cover, less spaces, so more fouling can be expected.
Arda
But
Güler should stay away.
yeah, maybe. I was actually reading an article today from, I think it was today or yesterday, and they were talking about
Mm,
how Ancelotti plans to bring him on slowly, not like, kind of rushing into him. That is an
mm.
approach that probably a lot of us wouldn't agree with, but, you
Yeah,
have to take it. And, talking about Getafe's form recently, I think it's like in the month of January, they played like 5 games and they've won two and lost three.
they
And
won the first game since Christmas yesterday, right?
no, they actually won in January at the beginning of January, if I remember correctly. It was against, I think, Rayo. No, sorry. They won in the
That was
cup.
Copa del Rey or something.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
won in the cup. They won in the cup against Espanyol, not against Rayo. So in the league, it was their first victory in January, definitely. I think
Mm.
yeah. So the only two teams they have beaten is Granada and Espanyol. So Espanyol is basically second division right now, as much as I dislike it. But Espanyol second division, and Granada is like it's kind of second division team playing in the first division. So those
Yep.
are the only two teams they have beaten in January. I think it was against Rayo, Sevilla, and there was one Osasuna. They lost to all three of them. So that's gonna be interesting. And the thing is, like, traditionally for us, January has never been good. Like we were talking about this previously as well. Other previews like Real Madrid have struggled in Januaries, but this season January I think we've done decently. We kind of like won six and lost only one game. So kind of mixed fortunes. It will be interesting to see how we both start February.
I don't know, man. I'm someone who is a bit superstitious, right? You know me. Like I have this, weird feelings, from season to season, like how it's gonna pan out. Um, the season when we won the duodecimal, January was kind of a bit shaky. We were very uncertain, and even the PSG first leg really made our fears even worse. Now it's kind of very smooth sailing. I feel like, oh, there is some calamity around the corner. I just
Okay, for the
hope I'm
superstitious
I'm
guy
I'm
in you,
not right.
I'm gonna throw out some stats. Real Madrid, I think they've only twice previously won like 6 games on the bounce. Before that, they've never done it again. This game against Getafe, it comes off a 5 game winning streak, if I'm not wrong, in the league, I think. So it's gonna be
Okay,
interesting to see like how this
my
game goes.
God.
But for the Champions League, I'm gonna like throw out a stat for you. The thing is like there were two other occasions where there were five Spanish teams in the Champions League. I believe one was 16-17 and the other one was like 22. So we won the Champions League on both occasions. So this one is also going to be interesting to see what happens. Like this season also had five Spanish teams
Five Spanish teams in the Champions League in entirety.
in the group stage. Yeah,
Right, right. In the group stage, right?
yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope you're right, man. Like I can't tell you what I would do to see a 15th, in my lifetime. It'll be pretty special. Not gonna lie. Um, yeah. Again, like coming back to immediate matters. How do you think our lineup is gonna be like? I really want Modric to start again. Like, is it too much to ask? Because the more I see that basically, people are questioning what his playing time is going to look like from here on in, and Carlo having to come out and basically say that, oh, I don't want to disrespect him, and all that is a disrespect in itself. Like, why doesn't he get minutes ahead of Dani Ceballos? Is my question. Like, I really want to ask this to
Yeah,
Francesco as well, but it would come off as rude. That's why I haven't really, questioned why isn't Modric getting, because they clearly see much more, especially their data team, their analysts. They would be telling him that his metrics might be off, in warm-ups, in training sessions, in the gym. Like, who knows, right? Like, we
I
don't
think
know it.
it's more of a case of transitioning to the future. That's the only explanation I can give
I'm not
here.
a fan, man.
Because the fact is, like,
Ceballos, if it's using Ceballos, bro.
now the way I see it is like this is I think everything points to this being Modric's last season at Real Madrid. So Dani Ceballos is somebody I think Ancelotti probably wants to keep happy because a lot of Turkish fans they always say the fact that Güler should be playing instead of Ceballos. So and I kind of have to agree because last match I watched I was kind of wondering why didn't he
He
start
almost
Modric?
gave away a pen, a stupid pen as well. You saw the match, right?
Yeah,
Mo?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I was kind of wondering why Modric isn't playing instead of Ceballos, but that's the only explanation that I can come up with. Probably transitioning. Ancelotti has to keep everybody happy, and we know if there's something that Ancelotti is like extremely
I
good at.
hope that's not the case. Instead, it is to gain some money through his sales.
I mean, if
That
an
would
offer
make me
comes,
sleep
definitely
better.
Ceballos is gonna be sold. They're not gonna refuse an offer. But I think it's more of a case of them like probably managing the squad, and trying to build up a player who's probably gonna be here come next season as well. Because Cruz and Modric are two players you can't be sure. Like I don't know what Cruz plans to do next season if he stays. Is like something that we all want. But with Modric, I think this writing is on the wall. He's probably not going to be here next season. So for me, it looks like just giving Ceballos game time and like kind of building him up.
Matter TV was mentioning as well, Modric has to play. Don't know why he has been benched back to back 90 minutes. I hate it, man. Not gonna lie, I hate it. I might be a nostalgia merchant, but there is some substance to why I feel this
No,
way.
no, man. You
Because
definitely. I think for me personally as well, I agree with you when you say Modric is probably better than Ceballos. But the thing is, like the managing team, the management team, they probably have a vision that they want to stick to. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. The thing is, come the Champions League, and we need a goal, right? Ceballos might be fresher, more sharper, but he's not going to get us that one moment we need to overturn the tide like Modric. Modric on one leg, Modric on half a leg can come into a game with 20 minutes to go. If he's sharp enough, which we know has to be drilled into him, he has to gain some consistency, some rhythm in his feet to actually look, like he's up for it. If we don't provide him with that, that's my immediate concern. You know, like Leipzig is around the corner, like 2 weeks away, right? So the Champions League anthem is slowly, starting to gain volume. And I need this guy to be the centerpiece of the bench if we need to turn the tide. Like, because I've seen with my own eyes how much Modric can affect games, especially in Europe, right?
I mean,
So,
I think your point is extremely valid over there. I think it would even help Modric more when he starts games and chains a few games together because he's always said that he likes starting the game instead of coming out and as a substitute because starting the games gets him into a rhythm. So personally, if I think
mm,
Modric is going to be a big part of what we do in the Champions League this season, I think he definitely needs to starting more games. But the management probably has other ideas, and let's see what they do because this is just one game where Ceballos started. I think it was his first game. Modric definitely has had a few starts before, so it will be interesting to see how they take it from here. Especially against the game against Getafe because we have an Atleti game over the weekend. So it will be interesting to see what lineup is there. And I think maybe Cruz doesn't start this one, and Modric starts. So we'll see what happens.
mm. No, I was looking at the Madrid Extra tweet from I think a couple of days back with players with least minutes, and like Modric has more minutes than guys like Brahim. You know, so I'm not too overly concerned about overall minutes, but like I'm just worried about the rhythm that he's going to be in. Um, but yeah, I think the goalkeeping situation more is out of the question,
For me,
right?
it should be,
At least
but
for
I
you.
don't know about Ancelotti. For me, it's like after the save that Lunin
I
made in the
posted a very
game.
cheeky story for Francesco to see in 4K. The link you shared. Immediately that's what my thought process was. I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna put my number one, my numero uno as the caption, and he saw that. He saw it immediately, like 2 minutes after I posted the story. He saw it. So I hope he like him and the coaching staff, they all know what the fans are feeling like. I'm pretty sure they know, right? The stadium
Yeah.
doesn't lie.
I mean, I think at this point everybody knows. You probably have to be hiding under the rock to not know that Real Madrid fans would prefer Lunin over Kepa. But let's see. I think interesting news that came out like yesterday was like I think it was Miguel Angel Diaz of Cope. He was saying the fact that there's a possibility that Courtois could be back for the quarterfinals if Real Madrid potentially reach
Yeah.
there. So for me, that is the biggest news that I want to hear. Courtois coming back is something that every Real Madrid fan wants.
Would you straight away throw him into a quarterfinal? More is my question.
I mean, the thing is, like, you have Lunin, you have Kepa, you have Courtois. Take your pick.
You didn't answer my question though. Would you throw him, who is basically coming in from the cold,
See,
right?
the thing is,
And
like,
after such a big injury.
if he gets fit today and tomorrow is the quarterfinal, probably not. But if he gets like Saturday
Yeah,
or Sunday, he gets some time being fit,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
quarterfinal is like in the midweek, probably I would take a chance.
For me, at least he needs 3 match days, minimum 3 match days before he plays a quarterfinal. In my humble opinion, because you never know, bro. You never know. I don't think we can afford to take a risk where he's kind of
I think
still rusty.
Courtois has earned that. Courtois has earned that with his performances. That bit
Mm,
of belief that be thrown his way. So I think if he's
mm,
fit, if he's ready to go, that's the interesting thing because that's the most important thing. He ready to go? If he's ready to go, you trust him and throw him.
mm. Fair enough. Fair enough. But I guess Kepa is basically deemed, surplus to requirements from here on in. I just really don't want to see him, fuck up my sanity,
No, and
if I
I think
tune
I
into a
kind of
game.
like Kepa because I'll always be thankful for the fact that he kind of refused an offer to go to Bayern to come here and fight for a spot. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'll always appreciate the fact that any player who chooses Madrid is
And he had
always.
a very solid couple of months where basically we were, super happy with him.
Yeah, definitely, and I think, but simple matter is for me, I think he has one big weakness that I think doesn't really lend itself for him to play for Real Madrid, like in the Champions League and all these big competitions. So for me
Mm,
personally, given what both of them have shown so far and their weaknesses, I think till Courtois, but I would probably go with Lunin.
100%. And as for Kepa, like I slate the real life version of Kepa a lot. But I would like to thank the in-game version. Last night I came up against this monster side who had a front line of Henry, Eusebio, and Jairzinho. If you don't know more, they're one of the most OP cards in game. And he had a 9.3 match rating with like 9 saves. I won 2-0, basically, hanging on to my dear life. But yeah, man, like I hope, the goalkeeping debate is
The
settled.
thing is, like,
Um,
the game version of Kepa always frustrated me in like previous versions of FIFA. So there's
right,
that.
right. Okay, okay. His height is definitely, even in the game, is a problem.
No,
But what I
man,
like
I
about
could
Kepa,
never, for some reason, I could never score against him. I don't know why, what happened. Like, even the shittiest of
mm,
Chelsea teams, you still can't score against them because they have
yeah, his
Kepa.
his reflexes are pretty
Yeah.
decent. What I like about his other stat is his kicking. While I play out of the back, he's pretty decent. He has like 85 kicking or something. But yeah, um, Manati was mentioning our lineup should be Lunin, Carvajal, Rudiger, Nacho, Mendy. Lunin, Carvajal, Rudiger, Nacho, Mendy, Tchouaméni, Valverde, Modric, Bellingham. Tchouaméni, Valverde, Modric, Bellingham. No Cruz. Right. Vinny and Rodrigo. Yeah, no. Vinny and Rodrigo, I'm not so sure, bro. Maragay boy has the perfect reasoning. Let's be real, homies. We need to start Hoselu against the great borderless ball. He is valuable against low blocks, allows us to put in crosses in open space for the second striker. What do you reckon more?
Yeah, I kind of agree with him about Joselu. I think Joselu needs to start. I don't know how we go in the midfield. I would like to go with 4-3-3, but Ancelotti decided that we're gonna go with 4-2-2-2-2. So I think Bellingham is definitely starting. Uh, Vinny, I think he's gonna go with Vinny and Rodrigo, not Joselu, because there's a game against Atleti and he probably wants them to change some form. Get a game together and be back into form because Bellingham missed out over the weekend. So I'm probably
Yeah,
expecting Vinny, Rodrigo, and Bellingham to start.
Hostel off the bench, yeah.
Yeah, Hostel off the bench. Hostel and Brahim off the bench.
Mm. Madrid TV was asking, and have you guys noticed that Rodrigo form has dipped since Vinny coming back to the team? I've noticed that from the get go, but it's a controversial opinion.
I
But
think it's more of a thing of the role changing. Like with
yeah,
Vinny back in the team, I think Rodrigo is having to play a little bit deeper. So
second fiddle
yeah, second fiddle,
basically.
and Vinny is getting all the goals and
Attacks
assists.
all the attacks flow through Vinny when he's on the pitch. That's something that has been a basic imprint of our side whenever Vinny started. So I'm not surprised, but yeah, like Vinny has slowly stepped up. Like even I wasn't super happy. I'm not so sure if you saw the post match. I wasn't super happy with Vinny, even in the last game. But yeah, like he's slowly getting back to 100% sharpness, 100% peak form. So hopefully this is good omen for what's around the corner. Regarding centre backs, right? Apart from Nacho and Rudiger, like and Chouameni, there is still no news yet, right? Like
I
especially
don't think
regarding
we're gonna sign
transfers.
anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's like kind of beating a
Mm,
already beaten rock. But yeah,
yeah.
I don't think we're signing anyone. So it's just gonna be Rudiger, Nacho. Like I kind of like the lineup that Moretti put out. I think that's gonna be the lineup tomorrow, unless
Mm-mm.
Ancelotti decides to surprise and starts Joselu.
Don't start Fran, please, against Greenwood.
I don't
Greenwood
think
is
so. I
playing on
think
the
Lemmy
right.
is gonna be starting.
Yeah, against Greenwood, Fran is going to get annihilated. So I don't want to see that happening. Fran can come off the bench, and I was super happy with Fran. Against Las Palmas, he was a real outlet. If you saw the game, right? Like he even
Yeah.
played winger towards the end, and he was really, really sharp, really quick off the mark, and yeah, helped the team get up the pitch. Fran was decent. So yeah, man. I guess that's pretty much it. Mo, any final thoughts, Mo? Before
Yeah, the
you
only final thought I have, is before you do your outro, I hope everybody likes my ad and goes to manscaped.com and buys the stuff. But yeah, man, against Getafe, excruciating game. I hope we get a good result and start February well.
100%, 100%. Yeah, man. Bellingham being back is a huge plus for the team as well. Allows Brahim to basically Brahim was non-existent when he started against Las Palmas. I'm not so sure what happened. Jacob was of the idea he has seen a lot of Brahim having ghosted games in Milan. While I had the impression that yes he can go missing, but I never like
I,
slated
for
or
me
thought
personally, I
Brahim for
think
his work rate.
for me personally, I think the it was an effect of how Las Palmas play, because they're like
Mm,
a very possession heavy side and they kind of press forward, and their manager, it was the manager of Barca B before Joan
yeah.
Laporta, in his like infinite wisdom, decided to sack him. So
Mm.
I think he's a good coach. I think I was reading
He
it.
won the youth league as well with Barca B,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember Tony Cruz was pretty praising him a lot
Mm,
in the
mm.
social media as well. So I think he's a good coach. Thankfully, like sacked them. But with Las Palmas, he has them playing in a good style, and has them high up in the table coming from the Segunda. So
Yeah,
Las Palmas and their style kind of like didn't work out. So for me, that was the reason why. The thing is like we couldn't really keep the ball well. So getting players like Brahim, Rodrigo, and Vinicius getting the best out of them was a struggle. But towards the second half of the season, second half of the game with Joselu coming on, we suddenly had an option, to kind of stretch their attack and stuff to keep their center backs pinned back. That kind of helped.
yeah.
So for me, that was something that Brahim and Rodrigo couldn't do alone. So that helped, and probably Brahim struggled a little bit. But when it comes to teams against sitting in a low block like Getafe probably would, I think Brahim is gonna have a game.
100%, 100%. Right, you heard the man. Hopefully, we're gonna be, sitting here post game. It's gonna be me and Mo again, So get ready to see, these boring faces again. Hopefully, Thursday with a smile. 100%. I'm hoping I won't be feeling like how I felt against Las Palmas in the previous two games, which hasn't been great. Almeria and who was it? The derby as well. Um, yeah, man. Big up our partners again. Big up our partners, Real Madrid committee. First of all, our OGs from basically day one on Instagram. Go check them out. They're on a brilliant Instagram fan page. And yeah, man, they have amassed over 100K followers. Like I remember, when I met Sean, they were on 5K. So yeah, man, big up Real Madrid committee and all the good work they've been doing all over these, 2.5, 3 years. And big up our premium partners as well, Manscaped, who has been with us for over like 2 weeks now. It's really surreal when you think about it that, people like us, we are a very small fan channel, basically, run by fans for fans who just have a passion for talking about our club and having um, discussions, open discussions with people, in the chat, people who sends us messages after tuning in later on audio platforms as well. Yeah, man, what makes this great is because this is a two-way street where we get to share and discuss stuff. And yeah, man, Manscaped hopefully will be with us for the near future, and how long they're going to stay is going to depend on how much love you guys can show us and Manscaped as well. Like I would like to reiterate, this is the perfect season for getting a gift for your loved one, whether it be a man or a woman, girl or a boy. There's a whole catalog of stuff on over at manscaped.com. um, if you come across their premium products, the pricing might be a bit steep to digest, but I guarantee you, I vouch for it that there are stuff that is under 50 euros, under $50, under £50 that, yeah, man, would go a long way. Coupled with 20% off and free shipping, I think there is a deal out there. And yeah, use the code LBR20. I repeat, LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping over at manscaped.com. I repeat the code LBR20.
And you can buy stuff like this, with a light as well. So
yeah, that's the Mon Lower 5.0, their latest iteration of infamous lawnmower series. Like I've been hearing the lawnmower, hearing about the lawnmower for over like 3 years. So yeah, man, it's a very highly reputed. Obviously, it's a given when Manscaped is the pioneer in below the waist grooming. And yeah, man, they have all sorts of stuff, even above the waist grooming as well, like beard balms and stuff. So yeah, man, like they have a whole catalog of grooming stuff, loungewear, you name it, boxers, pajamas. There's this whole sorts of stuff that Manscaped sells, man. So they don't ship to, I think, Asia. I think that's the only, and Africa as well. But apart from that, Europe, even the Middle East, UAE, Saudi Arabia, obviously the America, Canada, all of that, Spain, Germany, like Spain and Germany, like one of the places where we have the most listeners from. Like you guys, there's a clear opportunity to show us some. So yeah, man. Hopefully you guys can help us out and help Manscaped out. Madrid TV says the big up once again, and let's hope for a win. Ala Madrid, big up Madrid TV, man. Big up every single one of you in the chat. Mere boy Farouk as well. I forgot to big up Farouk. He was saying hello from the other side. I guess he's a bit mad at me for not shouting him out, but big up Farouk, man. Farouk is the very reason that we are here, because he basically shared his premium Zoom account for us to hold this meeting amid his very busy jollof rice eating adventures over in Nigeria with his family. I hope he's having a good time. Hope Jacob is having a good time as well. Yeah, man. Until next time, people. Ala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.